What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Robot Rumble 2. Today we are building a robot, and I am very excited to do so. It's been a little bit of a time since I've actually built a robot, just a plain old build a robot in an episode type of thing, and I am actually very excited. This is where I began the channel, and I can't wait to continue doing this because a lot of you guys have really enjoyed it. So in today's episode, we are going to be doing something that is themed towards the day that this is going to be released. In America, Thanksgiving is a thing, and Thanksgiving is essentially when the Americans kind of took the land from somebody else, which I don't really like getting into. But us fat Americans shove that thought to the back of our heads and we just eat a bunch of food because that's what we like to do. Now the main thing for Thanksgiving is essentially turkeys, food, just food. It's pretty much just food. And we are going to be theming our robot around the Thanksgiving theme. Now I put up a little poll in my Discord channel, which by the way, if you're not in there, get yourself on that. It's really good. And pretty much in that poll, I asked you guys what type of robot I should build. I put out a bunch of different things, and what we landed on for this robot style at least is a 6-wheel drive front hinged flipper robot. And the theme of this robot is going to be something I'm actually very excited for. This is going to be the Thanksgiving theme. So congratulations on the suggestions, RoboGamer21. We are doing your theme suggestion in today's episode. And without further ado, guys, let's jump into the robot workshop and start creating our robot. Alright, we are here in the robot lab and we have to start creating our robot. Now the big thing that I'm kind of worried about for this build at least is getting the 6 wheels in. Since you guys voted on the 6 wheels, I'm not quite sure what I want to do with all that. Now I'm just going to kind of go for a weird shave. I think that's going to be perfect how it is right there. Probably too big, but I can always shrink that down in the future. I kind of want it to be a somewhat small robot just because the front hinge flipper, which people, if you don't know that, it's a flipper that if you think of a very stereotypical flipper in a robot, it'll flip the other way. So the robot's essentially going to be pushing another robot with its flipper. And my big worry, like I said before, is going to be the size of this, because I feel like, especially with six wheels, I have to get a bunch of stuff right when it comes to the internals. So I essentially picked 5 different colors that I want to work with for this robot. The first one being coffee color, the next one being olive, the next one being blonde. This is the color blonde right here apparently. This is deep saffron, and then this one is Halloween orange. So these are the 5 colors that we're going to be working on with our robot. I pretty much put these colors down just so I know what colors I can choose between for this robot. And now, since we got that all done, it is time to start working on the actual wheels. This is going to take me a little bit to put down and everything, this being the front of the robot. I think it's actually backwards. There it is. So I'm gonna step away and I'm gonna try to get all this stuff down real quick, and hopefully it won't be too time consuming, but we'll see. So I will see you guys in a second when I get these wheels down. Alrighty, I think I kind of figured out what I wanted to do with the wheels. I know they're not going to be the most efficient type of wheels in the game thus far. I know there's a strategy right now in this game where if you pretty much copy something, you could pretty much and like put it on top of the other part of the wheel. It'll essentially make it so the wheel has more hit points and more armor essentially. But I'm not going to be doing that in this robot, mainly because I'm going for a old school wagon type of vibe, I guess, for this robot. I want to go for the wagon on the wheels at least, and I think I want to make this robot actually a turkey and have the little beak be up front and use the beak to kind of do a little flip in front. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go, but that's the plan right now. I ended up using the Ampflow 28150 motors for this with a couple of transmission boxes, and I have recently started just absolutely loving the A28150 motors for drive at least, because they're so freaking powerful. They do actually burn up really easily, but I'm hoping with 6 wheels that can at least add some more power to the drive. They won't burn out as easily, but I guess we're going to have to see when the testing comes. And I decided to use all brown for this. Now I kind of want to change up this color a little bit to maybe this gold. Oops, not that. To this gold. Yeah, that looks good right there. So I'm going to do the gold tips for these little parts right here. I think that looks pretty decent. It kind of gives it a kind of like a copper look to it. I'm planning on trying to only use these 5 colors for this entire robot. So I'm not going to try to use black. I'm not going to try to use white or anything like that. I'm going to try to only use these 5 colors. But I think the wheels actually look pretty decent. They're not the best. I kind of did them real quick. They're a bunch of cubes that are just cycled differently, but they come out looking alright. It's almost like a little pizza pie, but I cannot complain about them so far. So the next thing that we're going to be doing in this episode, for this robot at least, is to start building that weapon, the front flipper. Actually, I'm going to get this working real quick. I'm going to put in the internals of just the drive and see if we can get that working at all. So I'll be right back once I hook all that up. Okay, I'm back. Got the somewhat of the stuff in. I pretty much just wanted to put down the stuff, get it driving, and see what happens. Now, I noticed something real funny, alright? So, I used this continuous dynamic collision detection thing for all 6 of the wheels. I used it for all 3 on this side, and then it copied over to these ones. My favorite thing about this robot, alright? Let's go! It just explodes. But if I turn all 6 of them off, then the robot will perform well. I'm going to be having them off for now until this robot is completely done, because the wheels, they're just not strong enough to hold. But when the robot doesn't use them, they seem to be working good. It's a somewhat fast robot, very slidey. I have it all set to rubber, so I guess we'll see what happens. Alright, so the next step that we're going to be doing is actually building the flipper of this robot. I'm actually very excited to start this because I really feel like I can get something really good going with this, and I just can't wait to start it. So, pretty much what I'm going to be doing, let me see if I get a shape real quick for you. Alright, so the robot's not exactly, but it's going to be something like this. And when the robot wedges underneath another robot, this little square right here is going to move this way, so it's going to be pushing out essentially like this. And then it'll push the robot, whatever lands on top of this, flying this way towards, I guess, where these wheels are right now that are kind of glitching out. That's the plan with this robot. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be going because, as I say for a lot of things, I have never made a front hinged flipper before. And I usually say, I haven't done this, I haven't done that before. I'm scared to do this. So I will be back once I finish making that, and hopefully it can come out pretty decent. It's not going to be a finished piece, but I guess we're going to see how it comes out in about 2 seconds. Look at the little turkey go crazy. He's going crazy right now, guys. Hold him back, he's mad. I have created something that I didn't think I would get to so quickly. I created the little face of the turkey on front of the weapon. Now essentially what this weapon is a pancake connected to a belt. The belt is actually connected to this little triangle right here, and then that triangle is connected to the actual plate, which is going to be the ultimate flipper in the end. And I was bored, so I kind of just was messing around with a little bit of a decoration on top of it, and I think I like it actually. I'm not like super happy about it, but I think it's definitely like, you know, not terrible. And I wanted to try something. I know this is going to be very cursed. Welcome to Cursed!ville. Oh my god. Oh, I hate it. Get out of here. Get out of here. I like the turkey better. Alright, so now that we have the decoration at least done for the front flipper, I have to actually set it up because when I start up the robot, it pretty much just falls down. Yeah. It's it's a little limp if you ask me. So I'm gonna hook up batteries to this weapon. I don't even know what to call it. It's the flipper. I'm gonna call it the flipper. I'm gonna hook up batteries and an ESC to this, and we'll see how powerful it is in the end. Alright, everything should be hooked up, and there's only one thing to do. We need to test it against the DB boy, the debug robot. And I I mean, it works. It's not... I need wedges to really ultimately test it, because I can't get underneath, but look at... Put your 3D glasses on. Did you see that? That was a crazy throw. Alright, so it works. It works against a 15 kilogram or however heavy DB is. It works against that, but it's not done yet. I also had to change the belts because the belts, with it being, this part being at 0.1, it just did not have any power at all. So I might have to mess around, like if I put this down to 0.1, will that be any better? I hope it is. It doesn't seem like it really has a difference. Oh, it seems good. Oh, it seems even more powerful now. It's launching me backwards more. Oh my gosh. It's so much more powerful now. At least on myself. I guess it works. I really don't know how to explain it. Okay, so some work has been done. I've made the flipper a little bit more powerful. I added some wedges because the belt was kind of clipping through here, and I added this. It kind of looks like crap right now. I'm going to be working on that in the near future. Added a little top part, and most importantly, I'm going back to... I like switching up my robot builds at least, okay? I love building with a complete control of your chassis. Essentially, just putting down the bottom level and then building from there without ever touching this chassis tab again. But I kind of have that like urge to want to just use this chassis tool to just build the entire chassis of the robot. Now what I've been doing is essentially, let's go here real quick. Let's go check this out. This is the hollow frame thus far of the chassis. Now it's not gorgeous or anything like that, but I am essentially just building the chassis based off of the levels that we have. So I'm on level 3 right now, and this is what the entire robot's supposed to look like. And ever since building it up, I've been kind of just using the remove plate feature in the materials tab to just kind of remove what I don't want there, and then I'll just place whatever I want in that spot. So all I have to do left is just complete this chassis connected to the top right here, and then we should have just these two open gaps right here, and then our robot is done, essentially. On paper, it's done. But I'm going to be working on it more after that once I got this chassis done, because the wedge game for this robot is very important. This robot needs to win every single wedge battle it can get. If it wins most of its battles, because it's a very long robot, it needs to win the head-on-head collision, so if it ever gets its side taken, it's going to lose. Let's be real. So when it goes head-on, it should be much more efficient when at least attacking the opposing robot. So my goal here is to complete this chassis right here, the top part at least, and then we'll start working on the front, and from there we'll work on the wedges, and then we're almost done with the robot from there. So I'm going to continue working on the chassis, and hopefully I can get it somewhat how I want it to be. I guess, I don't really know. I changed my mind. I'm going back to what I said before. I'm doing my own chassis. Alright, so it's a couple of days later now, and I have decided that I am pretty much done with the chassis of this robot. It took me a while to kind of figure out what I wanted to do, especially because of how weirdly shaped this robot was. I didn't want to just do a classic box shape, so I kind of aimed for a weird design, and it looks weird, let me tell you. It has its own charm in its own way. So the biggest thing that I was really worried about for this robot is the more I messed with the chassis, the more the wedge game would kind of lose. I kind of kept adding things on top of the robot, which made it eventually just not be able to get underneath any other robot. So I ended up just going with a flat plate here with a couple of supportings, and I love these little chicken arms right here. They're technically turkey arms, but turkey and chicken, same thing, am I right? So the way that this wedge works actually is much better than it was before. It actually can get underneath, I'm going to say 65% of the robots that it's gone up against, including really good robots. When it flips itself over, it'll self-right with the magical front hinge flipper. And I didn't really have not a theme, but I didn't really have a design for this robot, so I kind of went with this little thing right here. I don't know what it is. It kind of reminds me of like a Charlie Brown kind of vibe, so I kind of went with that throughout most of the robot, and I'm not done yet. But now we have to work on the actual decoration of this robot, and you're gonna look at it and go like, it looks done to me. What are you talking about? I am not done with this robot at all yet. I want to add some really awesome designs. I kind of posted a little thing on my Discord. Again, if you're not in it, check it out. The thing that I posted was like, what should I do with this robot? It kind of looks weird. I don't have a name for it yet, and it looks plain. It looks plain. It needs nuts and bolts eventually, but not yet. And since I told everybody about the Thanksgiving theme that I'm doing, a lot of people were saying like, add food. One person said add everybody's names that's in the Discord, which is going to take forever. I'm not going to do that. But this is my way, I guess. This is my version of thanking the community. So I am going to put, at this time, I have 176 subscribers. So somewhere on this, I'm going to put 176. You guys are going to know if you are involved in that 176 in the future, which is always going to be awesome. And that is my way of saying thank you to you guys. But I also want to add some like corn, maybe a chicken leg or something, which is going to kind of be ironic because this is a turkey and, you know, it's holding one of its own brother, I guess. Someone said to do some pumpkin pie in the future, which will be pretty cool. And I still need to come up with a name for this. And I posted it in the Discord. Everyone was stumped. No one really knew what to call this robot. So I'm going to take executive decision right here, alright? I'm going to name this... It's the Gobbler. It needs the in front of it. We got the Gobbler here, guys. Because, you know, turkeys gobble, right? Is that turkeys or is that chicken? I don't know. Roosters? Well, I don't know the difference between birds, obviously, since this kind of just looks like a chicken. But it has the Thanksgiving colors, so I guess that's all that really matters in a way. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing some stuff. And it's going to look a lot different once you see it next. Alright, I'm going to do this part by part. I'm going to be doing something through a different program that you can do in this game. I might put a tutorial up in the future. I know there's plenty of tutorials right now on it. But I'm going to be using a custom shape 3D modeling transferring tool. A lot of people use it right now where you can pretty much just type something up on Paint and then put that in the game pretty much. Now, it's a long process to do just one of them, and it raises the file limit of this robot by a lot. So I'm not going to go crazy on it, but I have a few things that I want to do, especially with the name. So I will be back when... What are we going to do first? Let's do corn first. So I'll be back when we have the corn down, and it's going to look pretty fun. And we have corn. There's some corn. The corn looks pretty alright right now. I mean... I really don't know what to do with the corn. I just wanted corn on this robot. There's really no other explanation for it. So there's the corn, I guess. There's corn. I don't think I'm going to have it up front. Now, the only other thing that I really wanted to do for this robot is to add the name, the Gobbler, somewhere. But I really don't see a spot that I really want to do that. So I might just skip that for now. I'll do it later in the future. I just wanted to add something. I guess it was corn that I wanted to do in the future. Somebody said to put a pilgrim hat on top, but I'm just afraid that when this bot gets flipped over, that the pilgrim hat's going to completely mess everything up when it comes to balancing. Because most of the time when this bot flips itself over, it usually ends up on its face so it can self-right. So I'm going to stick away with that for now, and I'm just going to call this robot pretty much complete based off of just corn, I guess. And now it's time to do my favorite part, guys. I haven't done this in such a long time, and I've honestly missed it so much. It's time for nuts and bolts. Let's go. Here's a nut and bolts. Here's a nut and bolts. Oh yes, a nut and bolt. Nut and bolts. 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 Yeah. Nut and bolt. Nut and bolt. One right there. Oh god, I just realized something. I'll get back to it. Nut and bolts. 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 I think we're done with nuts and bolts. I mean, it's not bad. This robot is definitely not my best robot so far, but it works good, and we're only at 92 kilograms, which I'm really happy about because I was so worried about this robot being overweight. I can actually mess with the materials now to get it up to 110, exactly where it needs to be. And the thing that I noticed before was this little gap right here. So we're going to fix that real quick. Alrighty, all done. That's much better. It makes me feel better at least. Alright, so this robot is done based off of decoration. All I needed was some corn. And now it is time to start working. Actually, we're not going to work on anything else. We're actually going to make this robot fight now. Who is it going to fight? I guess, I have no idea. We're going to figure that out when the time comes. But for now, I will see you guys in the new and improved Robomania Arena. Alright, we are here in the exhibition battle menu, and I'm actually very excited for this fight. We have the Gobbler going up against Hammerhead. Hammerhead has yet to debut in the actual league itself, but the time is coming soon. It'll be making its debut very shortly. And we have the Gobbler, which is, of course, the one we just made in today's episode. I'm very curious to see how it's going to go up against, you know, a spinner. Especially an angled spinner. They're not the best when it comes to power, but I can definitely see the Gobbler getting completely destroyed in this fight. So we're going to hop into this, and I'm about to showcase something that it hasn't been seen before. This arena has been completely redone, and I'm very excited to showcase what's going to be happening on it. A lot of people have been complaining about the out of the arena finishes in Robomania, so I raised the walls pretty significantly, so there's going to be way less chances for a robot to get flinged out of the arena. I also did a little bit of an animation at the beginning, which you guys are about to see. Alright, just some heads up. The recording for the fight that I was going to hold got corrupted, and I actually finished the robot after this, so the robot looks a little bit different. It's going to go back once the fight is over to how it used to look, so don't be confused. Hopefully it won't be too crazy for you guys. Alright, here in the arena we got the Gobbler going up against Hammerhead. We got a light animation, and I am very excited to see how this robot's going to perform. Like I said, it looks completely different now, and it actually, it has the 176 that I was talking about. There you go. And it's pinning Hammerhead against the arena, and it looks like it's taking on a ride. It looks like the driving is looking pretty good. It can't get the flip off quite yet. Doesn't seem like those wedges are certainly getting under just yet. And it seems like Hammerhead is getting the hits off that it needs to. Both hands have been removed. Both of the I want to call it the Goobler for some reason. The Goobler, the Gobbler's arms are gone. And now Hammerhead is just trying to figure out how to win this one. 2 minutes left in this fight, and it seems like we're in a stale pushing match. Now, I really wanted the Gobbler to be able to get underneath. It lost both of its wedges, though, that it needs to use. So I don't see it getting underneath. It has a miracle chance if it goes from the side. But it seems very slidey now for some reason, which I don't really know. Getting underneath, and it backs out of it. Oh, that was a shame. And now the weapon has come off. The flipper is gone. And this fight is essentially Hammerhead's to win, but it seems to be stuck right now. I think it's actually kind of stuck on a part, and the Gobbler's just getting completely torn up. Now that the flipper's gone, there's actually zero chance for it to win, in my opinion. Just getting completely hit by an angled spinner. Hammerhead's going to make its debut soon. I'm actually very excited for it, but this isn't an episode about Hammerhead. This is about the Gobbler, who is getting counted out right now, unfortunately. And it gets out of it, but this fight's over. Let's be real. I mean, we can stick around for this final minute to see if it actually... It won't. Maybe we will just see some destruction, which is always fun to watch, you know? I always like watching a robot completely tear up. There we go. And it got out of it again. Alright, I'm ending it here. The Gobbler, not looking so hot. Alright, well, I think that's going to be the end of the episode today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a very fun time creating this, whatever this is. It's a turkey, okay? It's not a chicken. It's a turkey. Get it right. It gobbles. Do turkeys gobble? I really don't know what gobbles. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of building a robot in Robot Rumble 2. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, week, weekend, whatever it may be. I will see you guys all in a later episode, and other than that, have a good one.